the meeting to order at 7:04. We'll sit Mary Jane for Phil, who we know is not coming. Motion to approve the minutes of August 28th, 2024.
So moved.
Ed, second?
Second.
Eric? Any discussion on them? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? So moved. Okay. All right. So in front of you, what I gave you in this packet, just so you guys are aware, you'll see I wrote some notes on the pages that are copied here. I think I did. Do you have it on
Yes.
those? Yeah. Okay. So in the minutes.
Next page.
Here. So we're going to talk about the generator, okay, tonight. The plumbing, we had approved $10,000 for that, up to $10,000. There's we spent $83.21. We had approved up to $35,000 for the HVAC. The bill that we will approve tonight was $34,294. And then the rest of the stuff, there were a couple other repairs that were done here around water fountains and stuff that we had thought we were going to bring to the group, but at this point we're going to push them into the maintenance fund, and we'll talk about why we want to do that in a minute. The other thing you have in front of you is, just so you know, is a complete printout of where we are today. So there are 3 different tabs on these sheets that you got. So to date, we have spent $43,422.50 in legal fees. We have spent $8,125.96 in clerical fees, and we have spent $14,901,127.17 in construction costs, for a total of $14,952,675.63, which leaves us $47,324.37, which is the number at the bottom on your sheet. I think it's all the way at the end. You can see there. All right. So problem that we have, and Don we'll talk about, but we approved up to $28,000 for the generator rewiring and stuff. The company that had given that initial quote has reneged and will not do the work. So when we go to get additional quotes, right? Don, take it away.
So we started using, for another company, because I did reach back out to Custom Electric, who did the work here, that gave the original price, called them numerous times, and finally the boss picked the phone up and said, "Stop calling, we're not coming back." So that was the call, that was from the owner of Custom Electric. So,
Is there a reason why?
Good customer service.
so I'm 100% sure they underbid it, and they didn't want to hold up to the money
That they gave.
that's the quote they gave. So I'm pretty confident with that. So the process of doing the HVAC over here, we started working with a company, a commercial contractor out of Cromwell. And they came down, commercial electrician, came down and went through the whole system. They brought an engineer down, they brought the generator guy down, they spent a lot of time on it. And they found that there's 2 transfer switches down there. And the right thing to do would be take both of them out and put a new, larger one in, and the entire building can be running instead of piecemealing it like the original plan was to do. And that came in quite a bit more, at $59,450. I don't have the breakdown. I talked to him a couple of days ago, but I'm guessing that the transfer switch is probably $20-25, and the rest is labor to remove and to install the new one. We do have to go out to bid for this, and put the bid spec together and go out with it, But from talking to him, talking to the engineer he brought down, and talking to the generator company, it all makes sense. We'll just jump into the 1600 amp. The generator is big enough to run 100% of the building. so we don't have to add panels and do load shedding here. We can put it on 100%. So when it's bid, we may get someone cheaper, or we may get someone more. But it was a little disheartened by custom how they did that. So no, there is not enough, and the rest would have to come out of bid to get it up. It can be done pretty quick. I think the hardest part's going to be waiting to get the transfer switch, because everything's
4 years.
yeah, everything's 2, 3, 4 months behind to get the stuff. So
And that would come out of this 47 that we have left.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it can be done today.
So,
It costs all our money.
it will. We'll just have to come back and approve the bill. This is the only thing we'll have to do. So my recommendation is that we change our not to exceed up to $46,800 because we have a couple of bills. Ruth just submitted bills for July for hours that she did for these minutes, and she'll have another set of minutes, so give us a little bit of fluff in the clerical account. So that leaves us, what, 300, about $500 for clerical stuff, if we do that. And let Don go get that. We'll pay up to that amount, the rest gets paid out of the maintenance fund to get the work done.
There needs to be a penny left.
There will, yeah, we'll
There
have
needs-
at least a
No, there
penny.
needs to be a penny left because we need the credit of this project
Mhm.
coming in under
Under
budget.
budget.
Yeah, well, that's why I don't
You're gonna
wanna,
come in
that's why I
under
wanna
budget
leave
4
money for
meetings
Ruth to
ago.
make sure we have money to cover that. And then we'll pay the maintenance fund, you know, what, up to that number in the maintenance. And, you know, I think, again, this should be, after we get the work done, that will be our last meeting to approve that one bill and we're
Ruth's
done.
bill might not be $500.
Correct.
So there
There'll
might
a
be
little bit
some
left. There may
wiggle
be
in there.
$80, $50, $80 left.
Right, so.
Actually, how about we do that, well, we won't know the exact amount because Ruth won't bill until after she does the final set of minutes, but we can figure out whatever's left.
Should we do an order of magnitude for Ruth? Not to exceed.
Devil's advocate. Is this necessary? To put the
Yes.
whole building?
It really is. Literally, when we have a major storm, we are running around unplugging, running extension cords across
Why are you looking at
offices.
me?
Because yours is one of them. Linda's the same way, right? Her computer doesn't work, the plug doesn't work in her computer. She has to run an extension cord across the room. None of the air conditioning works on the whole entire public safety wing. None of it's on there.
And so in all honesty, the original thought was to do from here down, and if there's a storm, kind of shut that end off. So now, if there was something, the entire building can be up and running. So, in the grand scheme of things, maybe them not coming to do it was a benefit. So maybe we get the entire building 100% now.
I mean, we have done a lot of other work. Hindsight, we probably would have,
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
but
the,
we all sat around this table when they said to
I
us,
get it.
which plugs do you want to be on the generator? And we said, all of them.
correct.
We were under the impression from the very beginning,
For
all of them.
We're 100% were, so. Yes.
Maybe it wasn't this table, but.
wasn't this day. Yeah,
No.
I agree. But
Yeah, we can't go back. Correct. However, you know, I've made it very clear with Silver Petroselli and the Firehouse project, right, that there will be a deep review of the mechanicals, all of the MEPs for that building.
Oh, those poor people.
So, yes, exactly. So-
I'm sure they're so happy to see the two of your faces on that board.
Yeah. So,
So just,
I'm still not comfortable, and we're getting off the subject, but I'm still not comfortable that the AC is fixed correctly in this building.
so I was just gonna throw that out there.
Okay.
So, yes, it's working well. The new system, let me start from the beginning what happened. So they came in, and I think once you start to hear the whole story, you'll understand why there was such a problem before. So they came in and put the whole new control system, it's called Toasty Box. It was a diagram. So it still had its hiccups. It wasn't working the way it was promised to be working. So they wound up finding someone to work for another company that actually worked on the system here. So they came back with the plans, and they got this system. And since day one, all the exhaust fans have been turned off. So this building has never had exhaust air pulling on. Once they turned the exhaust fans on, they were overridden inside the system that nobody could see unless you were the tech that was installing the system. Once the exhaust fans went on, you start hearing, because you've never heard any of this before. And then the system started running correctly. Temperature started coming back. They were maintaining at 17 degrees, or maintaining, we put it at 65, it was maintained at 0. So what we do is still have problems, like the selectman's office. They got 2 thermostats 20 feet apart, and Irene and Valerie are walled off in their own space. So there is still a balancing issue in there, or a missing VAB that should have been installed that wasn't installed. But for the most part, I go and check a couple times a day to make sure the building is maintaining 69 to 71 instead of 70. So I think, for the most part, it's been good. I hit the wrong temperature for you the other day, Jim, that's why.
It was 66 degrees in there.
Nice.
So,
We didn't want people hanging around.
And the day
Didn't want them to
before,
fall
the wind
asleep.
blowing out of the gymnasium doors, you had to push those doors shut. The doors were open this much, the breeze blowing out of the gym.
so if you go into the meeting room 1 now, and the door is closed, and you start to open, you feel air, which you never felt before because the exhaust fans are on. So it seemed like the exhaust fans helped balance the whole system to start working again. Now, I can't tell you, I don't know, when they balanced the system here, were the exhaust fans locked out. So is the balance off?
I thought we had talked about that before, and it was a noise issue. So basically, when the exhaust fans or something got turned on, and people were kind of ticked off because all of a sudden they heard a whistling that they never heard before. Stuff went on, motors went on that never happened before. I thought we had discussed that. And is that part of this now? Because
I don't remember that with me. So the exhaust fans have only been on.
Yeah, that
an
happened
hour.
recently when the exhaust fans finally went on. It was like, what was that noise?
So they were here working, and I heard them come on in my office. And I went right upstairs, I didn't know what it was. It sounded like there was a jet taking off, with those exhaust fans coming in. That was my first time hearing it. Now, some of that whistle could have been, which, with the other system, they could have had too much air coming out. I don't remember that conversation with you. We had it, I don't remember it.
Well, if you're comfortable, I just hesitant to spend the last of our money and still have the environmentals not working correctly.
so I can honestly tell you, I'm feeling boring eyes on the left-hand side of my body right now, so I can tell you not everybody's happy.
So I come in on a Saturday, and it's freezing when I walk in the hallway. And then I go in Valerie, and it's a sauna. So I go from hot to cold, and it's because
The door's
the
closed.
doors are closed,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
it's freezing in here on the weekend.
So Valerie, her office is a big problem, because she gets all the heat from the windows. And
That's what
so,
everything's, all the things are down.
so Valerie and Irene are 2 biggest ones, because the sun comes through that way. So if I put the main office area 68, Dawn and Linda freeze, and they're happy in the offices. You put it 70, 71 in the main area, they're sweating in those 2 side
Right,
offices.
so that's why it's cold when I come in and hot when I'm in my desk.
Mhm.
Right.
So
Okay.
I guess then, how did the controls help?
So I can use the system now. Couldn't use it before. So all the stuff that I have access to now, never had access to before. I never had access to exhaust fans. I never had access to relief fans, dampers. Never had any of that. That was all stuff that was never paid for up front. That wasn't, so from what I understand from KMC is you were buying a la carte. You bought this, you bought this, you bought this, and the rest stayed with the control company. So all the stuff that we have now, we have 100%. So the relief valve, I could turn on a relief valve or turn it on or off. Dampers open, which we could never do before. this system allows all that.
So to MJ's point though, like, why isn't this building just kept at one nominal temperature?
So
Do we still have occupancy sensors or dealing with that?
there's occupancy sensors, so, but I don't change it, I keep it at 70.
So I guess that's my point, like, why on the weekend would it be any different than,
Well, there's people here on the weekends.
and are they manipulating something?
You walk through the hallways.
Yeah,
sensors
it kicks
come
it on, the occupancy sensors kick on.
So like,
So,
But I'm coming in sometimes late, nobody's here.
yeah,
So those I get. You get a sun load, if
Mhm.
if the shades aren't drawn, you're gonna, I mean, in their offices, I get that.
Yeah.
You know, point taken,
Yeah.
I totally understand that. And just to Ed's point though, I'm like,
so I can tell you, I go in the system, everything is there. It's not like it was before. So I can go into anyone's office and see it's at 70.
And that's a good thing. I mean, because when we would call an election time, you'd have to call somebody else. You couldn't,
Correct.
you couldn't fix, you couldn't change, you couldn't see what was going on. So at least we have that now, because that was a big deal. That was a big part of it that we were trying to get for you. So at least we have that now.
It is, and I can go in, I can shut off, like, I hit the wrong temperature for you the other day, so you froze for a little bit longer, sorry.
Yeah, because you said, that showed that the fans were off, and we're going, the fans are not off, it's like a blizzard in
and
here.
everybody
I get the
needs to
wrong
understand
side.
too, it takes time for the temperatures to
Right.
regulate, so
Right.
at least an hour, right? To go from whatever you set it to, it doesn't happen like that, so, right, there's patience.
I was just curious, when I come in at night, why it's so cold in here? You know, that's the time that the air conditions maybe shouldn't be running? Maybe I don't know, but.
I don't understand why the gym should ever be at 66 degrees.
So
It
that's
doesn't
a-
need to be that cold in there for them to play pickleball.
So it's that way from 12 to 4, 12 to 5 for pickleballers and basketballers. Because I get nonstop phone calls, it's too hot in here, nonstop. So I keep coming back and forth.
you know,
No one's gonna-
you are never
I get
gonna
it.
make
That's
everyone.
So I'm sympathizing with you
Exactly.
and telling the story.
I
just-
get it.
It's definitely better. Having the control
Yeah.
is definitely better than where we were,
Mhm.
for
But
sure.
You're still gonna run into issues when doors are closed.
Correct.
Central air is
Mhm.
run with doors open as to be the most efficient. So when you start closing doors, you're gonna start messing
You
with the
start
balancing
to
of the
play with the
system.
balance.
Unless it's its own microenvironment.
Correct.
Right,
You know, if
Correct.
this had its own microenvironment, then
right.
it would be good closing the door, not equalizing it to the outside,
Right.
right? So,
So I think it's a lot of stuff nobody knows.
Yeah.
Was this building tested with the doors open? Was it done with the closed? I think that's a lot of,
I can't.
I think it goes back to design.
Exactly.
There's what, 7 air handling units throughout the whole building? So there's supposed to be areas that you could close off. Logic being that, yes, maybe the gym would be used on a Saturday, but the town office proper won't be.
so I wound up, the engineer for the elementary school, I actually reached out to him because some of the stuff that I was being told didn't make sense to me. So he may think, he's gonna go through all the plans, he's gonna go through the as-bills and stuff, that Selectman's office, the finance may be actually missing a VA thing. So we can regulate Valerie to Dawn, Linda, Tyra.
Which would make sense, right? Those are big offices. It would make sense that there was that valve to be able to control those. But there's no thermostats in those offices either.
There's not, there's a VAV above Dawn and one above
Yeah.
Linda, and they do that
So-
whole area. So,
Look, the way I look at it, whether we spend the money on the generator, it gets spent on, the work is gonna get done, for one or the other, out of the maintenance fund or out of this project.
we're 100% better off than we
Yes.
were with the other controllers. I will say that. It's a shame that the exhaust fans weren't on from the beginning. Who knows, it could have been a different outcome, but I guess we won't know that now, so.
Or maybe they got turned off because in the beginning we had so much humidity.
Well, we also had so many people in here trying to
with it.
mess with it that.
We had talked about
Oh,
it. We were
okay.
literally heating the air. to cool it,
Exactly.
Correct.
And then getting rid of it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
you know? And Linda went, guys,
Yeah.
electric bills come high.
Yeah,
Oh, well.
Okay.
okay.
Well, In your hands now.
So yeah, exactly. So are we good to
I'll just get a belt so for-
upgrade, to move that number up? So,
There's nothing on the table for any more of the HVAC, right?
Devil's
There's nothing
advocate.
right on the table right now. We got no.
no.
Okay.
Devil's advocate again, what happens if the quote comes in at $65,000 to do the generator?
Maintenance.
Maintenance
You'll have
fund.
to go, yeah.
We're only gonna do 46 or whatever, he approved, you know. Which this will still be good. It's new, this is June 9th, so.
All right, so I'll take a motion to change the not to exceed for the generator from 28,000 to 46,800.
28.5.
28.5, sorry, yep.
So moved. Second.
And Mary Jane, second. Any other discussion on it? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Anything else, Don? Your side?
No,
All right, so there's two invoices to officially approve. These were, again, both we gave not to exceed. So the first invoice is from US Mechanical. This was the original HVAC work. Invoice number 239995 in the amount of $34,294. Again, we had a not to exceed 35,000. Motion approved.
So moved.
Ed?
Second.
Eric? Any discussion? All those in favor? So moved. Second invoice is for plumbing. This was for repairing the sensor downstairs, right, Newt, on the sub pump?
How much was it? Or is that the fountain?
No, this is not the
That was
pump.
downstairs, yep.
This is the
That was the control box.
control box.
That ran it, yep.
Motherboard.
Yeah.
So this is invoice number 37232 for our plumbing company in the amount of $83,2104. Again, we had a not to exceed of 10,000. Ed, second.
Second.
Roy, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Any other new business or general discussion? All right, so I think we'll go a little dormant again until we get this done, and then we'll literally have one more meeting to approve that last bill.
How long will it take to get the generator done?
I gotta go out to do the
Because we
bid.
have to
right
go out
after
to bid,
we
it's gonna be
yeah,
a
so
bid.
we're gonna try to do a month.
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Public comment.
No, there's no, it's not on our agenda.
Oh, sorry.
Very good move. Very good move.
Motion to adjourn.
Ed,
Second.
Does that
Mary
include the truck
Jane.
ride home?
thank you.